Well, hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Great Northern Sex Cast. Kelly Guest here, Colleen Bertino.
Good morning, everyone.
We're almost to the big 3-0.
I know.
Can you believe it?
I don't know. I wonder if we can. I think we can maintain. I think we're going forward. I think we have energy.
I think we do.
Well, I know I have coffee, so it's all the same damn thing.
Yeah, and Michael is here this week. Hey, Michael, how you doing, sweetie?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, it's great. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's just lovely. I know that my yard is a jungle. I'm sure everybody else's yard is a jungle too. Just was out there.
All the rain.
Oh.
I mean, but it's beautiful. I mean, this is what we live for. This is what makes Minnesota winter worth it.
Oh,
I
is.
think.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is. Yeah.
So.
Before the mosquitoes are the size of vultures.
Oh no. Hello, I am
Are
one
they-
large mosquito bite.
That's right. You're up.
I just moved to my cabin
Yeah,
for the summer, and I can't. I mean, I walk outside. I mean, I'm one of those people they particularly like. I mean, Carl gets a bite, and it's like an hour later. There's no evidence that anything ever happened. For 2 weeks, I've got bumps, and I'm covered in itch cream, and it's just disgusting.
My grandmother did not react to mosquitoes. There are many, many lovely things I've inherited from both sides of my family. Why didn't I get that one?
I saw something on Facebook the other day that said, "No, here, right?"
Yeah.
I saw something on Facebook that said, "Why don't mosquitoes suck fat instead of blood?" And I'm like, yes. Now that would be a useful bug. I want somebody to genetically engineer that thing.
Yeah.
You could bite me all day. Okay, guys. So, I think the biggest event on the plate of the Fantasy Gifts team and the Great Northern Sex Cast is Pride Weekend coming up.
It is coming up. It's this Saturday and Sunday, which is a ton of fun and 2 tons of work. But but it's worth it. It really is. Because you have to set up the tent in the morning, and then you have to take it down because you can't leave things in the park overnight. That would be bad. We saw someone do that one year, and they came back, and all that was left was the novelty socks. And everything else had been cleared out of them. And we just looked over and said, "Did they really leave everything out there?" No, you take it down and you put it back, and then you put it back up the next morning.
Can I just say one thing by way of market research? I think that maybe they should, not if they didn't even get stolen, they should probably not reorder the novelty socks. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But it was funny. It was like what they were like, "What's left over?" The sock. We're like, "Oh, jeez."
What kind of business was it? Do you remember?
One of our competitors, I can't remember the name, but they've never been back.
Oh.
So that was it. I think they learned what's going through there. But no, we set up a little tiny mini fantasy gifts. We bring in some special items. The best part is I had to send Michael, and I wanted to ask you what sort of looks you get when I send you to Sam's Club and you buy a 10x10 tent and 1,000 blow pops. Because I was thinking about this as I wandered through the garage, and I'm like, well, there's an interesting purchase.
It is very interesting purchases. And a lot of people don't even question it, but a lot of times I like to offer that information. It's like,
course
I
you
like
do.
shock value.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll go to Party
No.
City and I bought some morph suits for some, we had some bondage gear
what's-
morph suits,
Okay.
where you put on this whole suit and covers your face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
So-
come in all the different colors,
Yeah.
the lycra
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
So me and Eric had to put those on and try out some bondage gear.
Yeah, we had all this
Nice.
leftover. We had all this leftover leather that wasn't packaged, or the packaging was bad. It had been sitting in our office for like 10 years, and I was going, just throw it. It is done. It is not like that. And I admit, I was 100% wrong. It was still in great shape. We, conditioned it all, but there was no way. So those guys put the stuff on, put the morph suits on, and then posed in the pieces so we could
Oh
take
my
pictures
God.
and we
That's
could see what the items were, and then we put them out at absolutely probably 10% of what they used to be. But we just wanted
Sold like crazy
sold
after
like
that.
crazy because
Oh my gosh.
it was heavy duty, spectacular leather, but there was just no way of selling it anymore until
Sure.
we did this, and it was just I was like, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I am perfectly fine admitting when I'm wrong
That
about
photo
stuff.
shoot was it was crazy because some of the positions they had me in, and then I had to stay in that position. There was this one thing that tied around Eric's thighs, and then it went around my neck, so I was forced into the position.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
It was fun though.
Yeah.
Can you
We
see
just
out of a
Googled.
morph suit? Can
You
see
can.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a really thin nylon. It's really comfortable. You can breathe out of it. You can actually drink out of it.
They're
kidding.
very silly. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I think I need one.
They're really cool.
I think we ought to all three get one and get. I think everybody that comes in and is on the team should have our pictures lined up in a more, and they should be in pride colors.
Yeah.
Do that.
No. Yeah. I think I think I've seen people wearing them as part of the costume going down Pride
so,
Parade
yeah.
and stuff like that. So I
But when
think some of the folks, although my favorite folks in the Pride Parade, I mean, okay, there's always the guys in the jock straps. I can't deny that that's not a nice sight. But the and I don't know which organization it is, but there's one company that always does a whole bunch of the balloons. They do like the balloon creations. They wear
those
like
are so
skirts
cool.
and the tails and the headpieces and this and that. And they're just, I mean, really, balloons are just happy.
They are.
They are.
That's true. That's a very good point.
I think that's one of my favorite ones when they're going down the street. I mean, I believe Target always has a shopping cart thing. That's pretty fun. There's certain things I just always get a kick out of watching. Although most of the time I'm setting up, so other folks can go do the parade. I'll get, watch the parade. I'll go, set up the booth and just sit and watch it. Because that's my job. I get a parking spot and I make sure people have caffeine.
Yes.
I have certain roles.
You're good that way.
At Pride.
Yes.
Going through there.
Well, I think one of my personal favorites, because the first Pride Parade that I ever witnessed, I watched the entire setup from a friend's balcony, 12 stories up. Okay, so I saw where everybody was preparing, and it's the Wild Roast Cafe dancing cake drill team.
Oh yeah, I've seen the cake.
Slays me. Have you ever watched them do their groove with the whistle?
That one I have missed.
Oh God,
because they started.
Michael's nodding.
They started after. I went back to the. Just guarding the booth so other folks could enjoy.
And that's the one they're in a piece of slice of cake, right?
Yeah, they're all
and
in
they
a
all
slice
do
of-
this dance and get that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's synced up, and it's hilarious. And they're all wearing tights in the different colors with matching Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
And then they've got their hats or dollops of frosting, and they all take it very seriously. It's it is a scream.
If you're going to go down that parade route, you do take it seriously, or you run your ass off like we did the first year that we did it when we were up front. But no, it's fun. We won one year. I think I mentioned this before. The first year that we did it, a few years ago when we were in the parade, we got best rainbow themed float, which was really cool.
Very cool.
Which the best part was is that we got free entry into next year's parade. So I loved that.
Lucky you!
And then we did the parade that year, but it's really hard to compete against the really good-looking guys in the jock straps. So you didn't quite get that one.
So do
and
you
then suddenly
walk
we
in the
realized
parade now,
that
or-
we were. It was too exhausting. We just don't have enough folks.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
That was a
decided
lot
what
of
we will
work.
do is that we will hand out everything from our booth, and then everyone can parade in front of us.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's still exhausting, but in a whole different way.
Work smarter, not harder. Let them come to us.
No, it's a party. I've got a great picture. I think I'll get it over to our fabulous Megan for the Great Northern Sexcast page. My now departed Great Dane Henry wearing his orange Ray-Bans and his multicolor, pride-colored feather boa.
I love that picture.
It's a great picture. I think we should immortalize Henry first Pride year without him. So looking forward to it. Come be sure if you're going down to Pride. I don't care if you're gay, straight, whatever, LBT, whatever. It's a great weekend. It's a lot of fun. The atmosphere is hysterical.
Yeah,
and
we have lots of giveaways. We have a spinning wheel for the prizes, and so we're on the north end of the park where we've been for a long time. So if you know where the the red section or the adult section is, we're like across. I don't even know the names of the new restaurants because it used to be right across from Joe's Garage and the other place that's no longer there.
Yeah.
And so we're sandwiched in between the tennis courts and them.
Kind of by
Boost,
Loring.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 28th and. Boost 28 and 30. It's always nice because we're in between a tree and a bench. And we've got all the room. It's a green top tent, but we have lots of rainbow flags, so it's easy.
Yeah.
Just look for the crowds because once we get that spinning wheel going, people line up. I'm
Okay.
telling you, our booth gets really busy.
Okay, sounds good. No, that'll be super, super fun. I'm looking forward to it. Another thing that's coming up besides Pride this weekend is I just want to mention that we're going to do a montage show. And that's going to be coming up July 7th, which is my brother's birthday. Yes.
Excellent birthday month.
Yeah. When's yours, Colleen?
Oh, the 5th. That's
Okay,
fine.
so
Yeah,
you're right there.
I don't mind sharing.
Okay. So we're going to have a really great montage collection show, and Tara will be on with Colleen to tee that show up. So be looking forward for that one, because there's a lot of really interesting folks that are going to be talking about a lot of really interesting things. So be looking forward to that. All right. So are we ready for the news?
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Okay. Do you know what a wedding moon is?
I have no clue.
Okay,
Don't Google it.
No,
It's
no,
up
no,
there.
no,
What are you
not
doing
Googling.
over there? She's digging in her phone. You just stop that.
Just checking. I have teen angst at my house this morning. So I
Okay,
have
no,
to- yeah.
it's a new trend. It's a new trend. And what they're doing, couples are actually going on a vacation before the wedding to like decompress.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right?
Why did I
So,
think of that?
I mean, it's like
Okay,
they've gotten so
now-
stressful
now I'm gonna
that they
ex-
have to take a vacation from the freaking wedding before they even tie the knot.
Because
what does that mean?
I've heard of baby moon.
Yeah.
Where you go, before the baby shows up, and where you can stay. And no, I'm just gonna have to explain to my mom that I once again have saved them even more money,
right.
because
By not marrying.
they no longer have to worry about this new freaking trend. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
So they're taking a, and then they either still do take the honeymoon or they postpone it or whatever. But, that's fine. Whatever turns your crank, I'm not, judgmental that way. But the thing that gets me is how outrageous wedding costs are. I think it's ridiculous. And it's so over the top. That bothers me more than people just doing whatever they want. I hate it when people spend exorbitant amounts of money doing what other people think they should do.
And there's been several studies, and I suppose we could go to Google, that says that the more you spend on your wedding, the less likely your wedding is to survive.
I've read stories about
I
it.
was today. Oh, happy anniversary to the folks I know that have been married 25 years ago today.
Oh.
But last night we were at dinner celebrating that, and they put together the entire wedding for and it was a gorgeous wedding. Everything was there for, I think, less than $2,000 2 years ago.
Oh, that's nice.
25 years ago, and they are going strong.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, okay, they approved that part of the.
Yeah, if that's the case, mine will last forever because we kept it simple and kept it cheap for our wedding last year.
Really? How did you? Just out of curiosity, how did you set yours up?
We basically wanted to get married on our cruise ship, but I knew it was too much for my family and everybody to come on a destination wedding. So
Sure.
I wanted the captain of the cruise ship to marry us. So we had a pre-wedding because I had, to get married in Minnesota, we wanted to get married first before going out of state because I was not going to change my name and all that. So we just got a couple friends, family over before the wedding and just hung out and had cake and did all the ceremony. Cool. One of my employees, she's an ordained minister, so she married me and Eric. So, yeah, Josie, she was awesome. It was beautiful.
It's interesting. My favorite wedding to date that I have attended was a year ago, February, and it was, a gay wedding, ironically. And it was our dear friends Scott and Brent, and who had been together 25 years, and finally were able to get married. And it was held at a mutual friend's house, and they had their pastor from the church that they go to come in, and his partner was the photographer, and it was all of just their very best friends. I think there were fewer than 20 of us, and it was a beautiful ceremony. Then we had cake and champagne, and then we all went over to JD Hoyt's, and we had a private room, and we all just bought our own dinner and whatever we wanted and just celebrated. And I just loved it.
That's
I thought it
nice.
was great, and I still think about it all the time. So I hated my first, yes, it ended in divorce, my first wedding did, but it wasn't that. I did not like the fanfare and the whole look at me thing. I do not understand the bridezilla thing. I was so uncomfortable, and I allowed myself to be talked into a meringue dress, a huge dress. My mom and my sister got me hammered and dragged me into a bridal shop. I wanted to go buy something off the rack, like a Macy's or something, just something classy. Oh no! I had the big. I couldn't even go pee by myself. No, seriously, that's not a good day. If you need assistance to pee, that's a bad day.
The amount of times that I've held up wedding dresses, but then again, a lot of my friends' marriages and stuff like that were in the late 80s and 90s, and they still had some pretty big dresses back then versus the slinky mermaids and the strapless things now.
That presents a whole different set of challenges for trying to pee.
Yeah,
now you
still
can't get your legs apart. Before it was like you can't get the dress up. Now you can't.
Yeah,
being a girl can be just a bugger.
Right.
Yes,
you're lucky,
I am
Michael.
lucky.
Yeah, the tuxes are much easier to pee.
Exactly. And for the wedding we had here, we just made it simple. We went to Calvin Klein and just got some white, linen shorts and shirts and just made it really nice and simple and had
Was
it
it
in our
summertime then,
It was,
obviously?
yeah.
Okay.
It was in June. It was just
June
June
wedding.
15th. It was just our anniversary one year.
That's
It was
so
beautiful.
cool.
It was.
That is really cool. Yeah, no, I'm just so whatever. Knock yourselves out, wedding mooners. So relentlessly gay.
Sorry.
Let's talk about being relentlessly gay, Michael.
That's just crazy.
What I find fascinating is that I brought this up yesterday, and both Eric and I were like, "What?" I said, "Oh, Google it." And I think there was like this head desk moment, and they're just like, and they're like, "Wait a minute,
Colleen, tell the story.
those mason jars."
Tell the story first.
Okay. So I'm flipping through the land of the interwebs, and I run across the story of a woman, and I'm blanking on the city she's in. I believe it's somewhere. Is it
In
Ohio?
Ohio, I think.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio.
And where this woman